boring interaction with a woman?
You're boring me.
You ask her something and then you just get like a one-word answer back. That's because you're asking her boring questions. See, boring questions equals boring interaction. However, there's a way to ask questions that can create deep, emotion-filled connections when done properly. I'm talking about questions so powerful, so deep that there's no way in hell that you're getting ghosted once you've made this deep of a connection with a woman. And so you might ask, well, Kyle, what questions do I ask? So I'm gonna share with you guys the exact questions that will actually create that spark the next time you're in an interaction with her. But first you need to understand that you don't just dump a deep question on her when they're not actually ready for that level of a question. I can't just be talking to a girl and be like, yeah, it's really nice weather that we're having out today, isn't it? And then next question just, hey, by the way, what was the most traumatic thing that happened in your past relationship with your last boyfriend? Not that that's even a good question. I'll show you guys what are some powerful questions you should be asking, but that level of transition is so deep and abrupt, it would make the other person feel extremely uncomfortable. So the question remains, how do we smoothly make that transition? And I'm actually gonna show you guys some sneaky ways that you could go deeper and deeper and deeper into the conversation to create really deep connections with women. And you've probably seen the stereotypical interaction either in like movies or TV shows where a guy walks up to a girl at a bar and he just tells her, hey, I thought you looked absolutely beautiful. What's your name? I wanna buy you a drink. Can I get your phone number? He'll then ask more and more questions to the girl as he tries to figure out what type of commonalities they have. And a lot of mainstream dating advice will have you think that this is actually how it's supposed to go down. Now, although this example is slightly exaggerated, the problem with this example is still the most common mistake I see men making when it comes to building comfort and connection with women. And they end up asking a lot of get to know you questions really early on in the interaction. And so in order to solve this, you need to understand that you never start off the interaction by trying to go into comfort and connection building. And this is what's known as seeking rapport in an interaction. You always want to start off the conversation by building attraction and intrigue first. And then as the attraction and intrigue goes up and up, we can then smoothly and very sneakily transition into deeper and deeper levels of comfort and connection using the questions that I'm going to show you guys in this exact video. Now, how does the art of building comfort actually work and how do we do it properly? The way to start off is by actually having normal surface level conversation, and then as we're vibing with the girl, we can slowly start to work our way down to deeper and deeper levels. So some easy surface level questions that you might use in your interaction is something along the lines of, how was your weekend? How's your day going? Did you do anything fun? Do you have anything fun planned for the weekend? How's everything going with work? How was yoga? How was your workout? Now, all of these questions are fine, especially if you have a good vibe, you have good nonverbals, and it's on you to carry the conversation in between these questions. Remember, we're not just bombarding the girl with back-to-back-to-back questions. It's on you to enthusiastically inject vibe in between these questions. Now, as we start discussing these surface level topics, the key is to start to go down 1 to 2 levels slightly deeper into the interaction. So some easy topics that you could start to sprinkle on top of this conversation to start to go ever so slightly deeper would be goals, ambitions, hopes and dreams, challenges, struggles, insecurities, vulnerabilities, tough times, traumatic experiences. Now, you wouldn't go from weather down to traumatic experience, but you could go from weather to nice weather this weekend, to places you've been wanting to travel, to other goals or ambitions that you've wanted to accomplish over your life. Okay, and that is still only going 1 to 2, maybe 3 levels deeper from the surface level conversation that we started with. And also your vibe and delivery will start to slightly change as we go deeper and deeper. So I could talk about a traumatic experience, but I'm not gonna talk about it in a serious way where I'm crying and I've got this crazy pain. Like, I could talk about a recent tattoo. I would say, yeah, it was like damn near traumatizing. Okay, and you could see that that's just slightly deeper. It's not like, yeah, my dad died when I was 12 and it was so traumatizing. Like, that's a heavy sentence right there. So keep in mind that as we're just starting to go 1 to 2 levels deeper, we're still keeping it lighthearted because that's just where we're at in terms of the interaction. And I think the easiest transition is goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, because those are on more of a positive note, but it is still a deeper, more connection building topic. Now understand, if you just go in and start asking these questions to a girl, they're not ready to disclose this information to you because they don't know anything about you. People don't trust strangers. but they do open up to people that they already feel comfortable with. So the next main takeaway from this thing is it's gonna be on you to disclose some of this information first for them to then get a feel for who you are, and they'll feel more comfortable with you and your story. And as a result of that, they will then start to open up after. And for anybody that wants to fast track this process, I have brand new coaching programs going into 2025. You can click the links down below. I'm looking for more dudes to work with me one-on-one to build up their social confidence and get that abundant dating life that they've always wanted. Click the link down below. So we start with surface level conversation. It's then gonna be on me to take it 1 to 2, maybe 3 levels deeper. They'll then feel more comfortable with me, and as a result of that, they could probably go down 1 or 2 levels. But it's never gonna be disproportionate. I'm not gonna start here and ask them a really deep question and then expect them to just go to that depth first. It just doesn't work that way. And typically, guys will miss these windows when we're talking about topics of conversation, because if somebody asked me, what do you do for work? I could just say, I actually coach men in self-development and confidence. So that would be the surface level answer. A slightly deeper answer would be, I actually coach men for self-development and confidence. It was surprisingly something I really struggled with when I was growing up. And so I became really passionate about it once I made a big breakthrough with it. So you could see there, I actually started to reveal a little bit more information about myself. A slightly deeper answer than that would be, I actually coach men with self-development and confidence. Surprisingly, it was something I really struggled with growing up. It's probably because my dad died when I was 12. And he was like the closest person to me in the world. And so like when I lost him, I really just closed off from the world. And I struggled with my confidence, and my first girlfriend even left me for another man. And so that's what really propelled me to dive deeper into these concepts. And over the years, I made a big transformation in myself, and it was just something I became really passionate about later on in life. And ever since then, over the last like 10 years, I found fulfillment in helping other men that went through the same struggles that I went through when I was younger. Now, I wouldn't go to that depth at the very beginning of an interaction, but I'm just showing you guys that if we were 30 to 60 minutes into an interaction and there was already certain levels of comfort being built up between me and the woman, I could then later on start to reveal more and more information in my answers. And also, guys, it might sound weird because I'm just saying the sentence for you now, but if I revealed the first part of it, and then there was some acknowledgement from the other person, I can then keep going and keep going. You don't need to say this lengthy answer. Conversation has back and forth dialogue with it. So it would probably sound like, I actually coach men for self-development and confidence. And the girl could then acknowledge what I said and say, oh, wow, no way, really? Then I could go into my deeper answer, which is, yeah, it was actually something I surprisingly struggled with when I was younger. Then they would say, oh, wow, that's interesting. Then I could reveal the rest of my answer. Yeah, honestly, I think it's just because my dad passed when I was at a young age, and I go into the rest of the answer. And so when you can do this over the course of an entire interaction, just slowly going deeper and deeper as you guys have back and forth dialogue, you can bring the conversation from how was your weekend to what was one place you wish you could always travel to but you never went to, or what's one of the biggest dreams you had as a kid growing up that you always wanted to do. Now, obviously, I would not just dump all of these questions back to back to back, nor would I even ask all of these questions. The conversation will have a natural back and forth dialogue. As you ask a question, then you start talking about yourself with an enthusiastic vibe, then they get curious or they acknowledge what you said, or they ask a question about what you said, and then you can talk a little bit more, then you put the question back on them. And that's how you can start to connect with people beyond just the surface level conversation that most people do. They just kind of keep it at that surface level interaction the entire time, and then you don't really get to know the other individual. And honestly, guys, it feels good when you really connect with another individual on a deep level. Most people just have surface level conversations almost their entire day. So when they finally find someone that they can connect with, they feel comfortable around, they get to know that person, and they feel like that person gets them, it's a powerful bond that you can create with people. Now, just because you create deep connections with women does not actually mean that you're gonna get the girl. All right, and that might come to a surprise for some of you guys, but this was one of the biggest mistakes I made in my 20s. See, when I started going out more and more, I was really passionate about self-development, cold approach, dating, pickup, all of these different things, because it was changing my life. I became really confident. I started communicating differently. The relationship with my family got a lot stronger, and I just had a more fulfilling social life. And so when I would go out and meet women and we started going on dates, or I started hanging out with them for longer periods of time, I would start to reveal a lot of information about myself because I was really excited about all these things. My life was transforming, and I liked connecting with people because I didn't connect with anybody in my teens and 20s, I was very closed off to all this stuff. So when I started interacting with more and more women, we would get into these really deep conversations on the first date or the first hangout. And I thought it was great because I was like building deep comfort. But the problem was that I would go so deep into these interactions and I would really connect with these women, but I wasn't getting laid. I wasn't getting the girl. We wouldn't even end up getting intimate. I would actually end up getting friend zoned by the end of it. And I was really confused because I was like, damn, I just spent hours connecting with this girl and we still aren't in a man to woman dynamic. And this is the second biggest mistake I see dudes making when it comes to building comfort and connection, which is you go so deep into connection building, you forgot about the attraction. And don't forget the first point of this video. You always start with the attraction and intrigue to get into a conversation. And if you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into connection building and there's zero attraction in place, it's not gonna have that man to woman vibe. So all comfort and zero attraction, yes, it will be a strong bond, but it's not going to have that sexual spark to the bond. It will just be kind of a friendly vibe. So you need to be able to consistently spike back up the attraction. So if you want to also be able to spark attraction with these women, that way you could really get them and keep them in your life, then you're going to want to check out this video right here. And for anybody that wants to fast track this process, I have brand new coaching programs going into 2025. You can click the links down below. I'm looking for more dudes to work with me one-on-one to build up their social confidence and get that abundant dating life that they've always wanted. Click the link down below. That's all for this video, guys. Peace out.